Danica. Even at this stage of the competition, it's got a little bit of magic about it, hasn't it?
Yeah, you want to settle yourself in, steady plays, easy, just play the real basics, get yourself all set up, get your first touch of the ball and make that the yards and get into a good ball area.
Well, West Wales certainly not standing on ceremony here as they take the ball right into the teeth. First touch there for Rangi Chase, he drops it off. And West Wales come forward, looking through that middle channel at the moment. Plenty of muscular defence though from Widnes early doors. That time Morgan Evans, who's 29 on Tuesday. A Bath Uni Rugby League player, and that's where he got his first taste of the game. As they'll come back to Gavin Henson, the first time we've seen that right boot in action as he belts it downfield, and he's pitched that beautifully into that corner. And he's basically said to Dion Cross, bring that ball away.
Can't ask for a better first touch, can he, really, to kick that ball and to perfectly place it like that. You can see Rangi's doing a lot of organisation, and hopefully Gavin will come into his own and start helping him along with that.
Plenty of forwards with a little bit of promise. Kenny Baker, nicknamed Beef, he's a drayman. Joe Lyons in at hooker as well, who Baker just winding up. I think he might be the man to take this next carry in. Looks for a pass, he's played a bit of loose forward. He's one of the kind of what you'd call a modern era middle, isn't he? It's the kick from Craven, hoisted downfield. Underneath that one, it's been tapped back, and Widnes might strike here, and it is Baker, and that's a brilliant legs tackle from Rangi Chase, although player's been called back. Wow, that was almost an opportunity for Widnes and Kenny Baker. But Rangi Chase, of all people, making the key challenge in the end.
Yeah, he's a put your body on the line type of player, is Rangi. He said to the team, it's going to hurt, you just got to get stuck in and get with it. What we need to remember is these boys haven't played proper rugby for a long time, and this is the first competitive game they've had in months. So, there's lots of excitement, and everyone will be eager to get involved.
Everyone will be waiting for that second win to kick in, I think. As you say, first few moments are always hectic, and the lactic starts to burn as West Wales making some decent metres there. Baker and making the challenge along with Callum O'Neill, a young loose forward. Only played one game for Widnes. He scored a try in that particular game. Daff Phillips dishes the ball out to Henson, and again the kicking game is going to be key. Blustery day in Llanelli. You can see the ripple on the tabs as Jack Owens tries to switch the play. Now they'll come down that right side with Jack Spedding. Plenty of pedigree from him. St Helens, Sheffield Eagles. And they muscle their way forward through Adam Lawton.
You can see both teams are playing quite simple one-up rugby at the minute. They're making good yards. They're pumping their feet, and they're getting themselves into a good ball area, ready to set up for something a bit bigger.
Owen Farmouth wanted that carry, and he's made some good meters there. Widnes easing their way into position. A little bit of slowing down of the ruck there, cutely by Morgan Evans, showing that experience. Matty Smith spills in contact. That's a measure of just how frenetic it's getting out there, and Emosi Nadalbali takes that ball in. And now West Wales can have a pop. Well, we're going to see that, I guess, aren't we, Danica? As you say, these two teams they're coming in and maybe a little bit undercooked for what they would like in. They'll have worked hard over the off-season, but there's nothing that replicates the actual game time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that pressure, isn't it? It's the added pressure. It's the pace. You can't replicate the pace of a game unless you're in it. So we're going to see lots of this happen today. Hopefully in the first half, by the second, they've warmed up and got back into the swing of things. But, we've got to give them that kind of little bit of leeway. It's been a long few months out.
Mike Connor, Germany international in his rugby union days, but back in rugby league here as Phillips finds Chase. Chase just threads that kick in behind. Looks for touch. Will turn Widnes round. No scrums, of course. And so Widnes will take their pick of where across the field they want to take this reset from. And this is a new law that's come in this year, Danica. Are you a fan?
Well, it's going to give the teams a chance to set up play like they've gone for the midpoint here. They've gone for to play either side, which is going to be confusing for the defence. Tactically, you might want to use the 10 or the 20 when you restart, but I think settling it in, go for midpoint, use both options, make sure the defence is unaware of what the plan of action is and keep them on the toes.
West Wales committing numbers there, trying to stem Widnes' flow. Dropped off nicely from Craven. Making good meters after contact there, but Morgan Evans and Joe Burke, who's back in the game after a spell setting up his plumbing business. That's a good hit on Matty Smith. They came hunting there, did West Wales, and they didn't miss. And then Jack Owens has to clear the kick from inside his own half, and you could see the wind taking that ball. If West Wales have got that on their side in this half, they know they're going to play against it, and that's when Gavin Henson's boot might come into play.
Yeah, definitely. We know he can place it. We know he can kick. You know, and West Wales are utilising the fact that Widnes are just a little bit slow on the ball at the minute. They're not taking it at pace. They're taking it quite static, which is giving the defence a chance to get up and cut them up a bit.
Now Sala, who's a member of the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, who's just trotted back to his mark on that right wing. Just outside Jamie Murphy. It will come back this time to Rangi Chase. It's his kicking game that will look to get them on the front foot. Was that within the 40? I think it doesn't quite make the touchline, put it that way. And so Widnes look to clatter it forward, but we're into a bit of an arm wrestle, aren't we? 6 gone, and it's been, you know, fairly set for set so far.
Yeah, it's great to see them both settling. You know, what's going to come of, you know, West Wales and being part-time players. Are we going to see that kind of the edge from Widnes take it further on in the game? But I'm hoping it stays like this. Is great. You know, it's pound for pound going in here, and everyone's making the same yardage, but also defence are cutting them short every time.
Another stride forward from Farnworth. Scooped up from acting half that time by West Wales, as they look to press themselves. Craven downfield, it's bouncing awkwardly, that one in the in-goal area. Oh, and that one bobbles loose in the end. I think now Sala's just about come up with that ball. What's the call here? It's a back to the 10.
Yeah, never let the
20,
ball bounce. Never let the ball bounce. Lucky on that one, Wales were.
So Trim Saren's own Jonathan Davies is in attendance today. Liam Moore, the referee, by the way. He's refereed some huge games in the Rugby League in the Challenge Cup. And Rangi Chase has slipped the net here. Chase is through, looking for support. Jack Owens makes the legs tackle. But Widnes pouring forward now, and I should say West Wales pouring forward now. Big carry there from Tom Morgan, big fend as well. And then lining up here, West Wales catching Widnes all at sea with a great opportunity now to strike. Chase, double pumps. Now onto Henson, who looks to creep his way through. What a position this is for West Wales. Rangi Chase with the break. Phillips onto Chase again, threads the grubber, chases it himself, and it's just been kept in the field of play by Widnes, who avoid the dropout. Steve Tyra making that claim, but what a piece of play, what a play from West Wales.
Oh, fantastic. The only thing they're missing there is that extra push support, and, you know, a bit more push support, and the offload was going to be on there. Gavin needs to speed up his play the balls a little bit, I'd say. He's taking his time on that one. It was his first one, so maybe a quick word and he'll speed up that just to get the boys on the front foot again.
That will have rattled Widnes, that is for sure. Into acting half goes Lyons, spins it into Craven's hands, and a kick downfield, looking to turn the home side around, who will have been buoyed by that certainly, and now Sala brings it off his own line. That's just a little warning shot, I guess, for Widnes that, you know, you can't take this side lightly.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? On paper, we all, you know who the favourite going into this might be. That might not work in Widnes' favour. You know, you don't want to get too complacent. So, like Rangi said in his interview, they've got nothing to lose. They're in it, you know, all in for this one. The expectations are not there. All they want to do is put on a good match, get a run out, and see how the boys play together. And, you know, and that's going to be great for them. And you can see that now they've got fire in their bellies and they're going forward. They're putting pressure on. I just think, you know, the odd few things.
Against Danny Craven, and he's off the field.
Well,
and that ball pumped a touch.
Perfect time to utilise this, isn't it? You know, they've got the go forward anyway. So again, with the restarts, you can pick where you go forward with this and put on a few plays and mix up the defence.
They're certainly targeting that short side, aren't they? Morgan Allen got them on the front foot there. Now Tom Morgan's turn. Bump and spin from him. Great contact from the West Wales prop. that Phillips is there. First receiver, Rangi Chase. In fact, he'll go to the opposite side of the ruck, and it's Henson. Now Murphy, plenty of experience from him. Now Osala, looking for a route down that right touchline. Steve Tyra there at marker. Now Henson engages the line, plays out the back to Chase. Thundering forward again with Morgan Evans. Really setting a point of attack here for West Wales. Henson plays late. They're through the line almost now, 5 metres away. Phillips looks up, goes to the right of the road, Chase with a dummy, little basketball pass, and they're into the corner. Orion now, Sala has scored here for West Wales, and what a turn-up for the books. They made the field position count. Widnes down to 12. Now Sala finishes in the corner, and West Wales, well, Aaron Wood said they were going to be good. For West Wales do. Still plenty of time to go, of course, as Henson prepares to line this one up. And he sweeps it on its way. Flags stay down. It's a 4-0 lead to West Wales Raiders. But the British Army, man, the vehicle mechanic, the Fijian flyer, as Aaron Wood told me, he has turned up. And for the second season in succession is making headway and making headlines in the Challenge Cup. Having done so with the British Army last year, he's now doing it in the grey and green of West Wales. Oh,
what a great start for them. You know, it's going to give them this perfect opportunity now. They've, you know, good time on the clock just to regroup and take a step. But it's experience, isn't it? It's just having that experience of the competition and knowing how to deal with that.
Rangi Chase having to pack pedal to gather that ball in. As a neat offload to try and get the ball away as Nadal Bale brings it forward now, and he's cracked the line there for a moment. Hauled back in just at the last, and mind you, in the back play, Widnes have a man down, and this looks serious. And in fact, Mike Connor had his arm up there to say, I think it might be Callum O'Neill, that loose forward in just his second Widnes appearance, who looks in a bit of bother in back play.
That's not looking good from it all, is it? He's taken a bit of a knock there as he was powering through the line, but nobody ever wants to see that. You know, the sport out there, and we're getting more people involved in it. So for me, it's always going to be a winner if we just focus on him and Rangi, and the rest is going to write itself, really.
So we are back in action. How will Widnes have coped with the delay? Will West Wales have lost their momentum? All thoughts, of course, with Callum O'Neill and a safe recovery moving forward. So both sides have to try and rediscover some of that rhythm they showed before. Chase out the back to Henson. Moved on in turn through the hands. It was the fullback Coburn who got it away to that far side. Now Salah's already got one try. He's flirting with the touchline as he dumped that ball back in field. Farmouth offloaded to Baker. What's play been called back for here? Penalty for Widnes, says Liam Moore. And Matty Smith's boot will no doubt come into play here, unless with the wind we have seen a couple of taps, but no, he is going to look for touch here, isn't he? Down that skinny short side, and he's given his side a big position here, Danny.
Yeah, he's managed to overcome that wind there and get a few yards down there. So it's a good effort. You know, that's where his experience comes in, and that's where his confidence is. He backs himself to do it, so you've got to let him do it.
Joe Lyons now for Widnes, quickening up the ruck. Farmouth, a gap opened up there. It shut very quickly as West Wales sensed the danger. Lyons again, goes out the back to Smith, dropped off in turn to Grady, and Grady slices his way through. And Widnes strike after the game resumes. West Wales Raiders lead is cut and wiped out. Shane Grady with the try. The Vikings are on the board. It's 4 points apiece with a kick to come.
That was a perfect example of how to restart after that stoppage then, wasn't it? And it just looked like defensively West Wales had kind of switched off a little bit and just let him squeeze through those gaps. Wasn't what we saw in the first 10 minutes from Wales, and hopefully that will be the wake-up call that they might need. You know,
Shane Grady bustled his way through. He's a former Halifax teammate of Steve Tyra, and they're back reunited in the black and white of Widnes. who had a fair few Welsh players in their ranks over the years as well, as Jack Owens takes care of the kick. It's a 6 points to 4 lead then for Widnes, but the likes of Jonathan Davies, who we said is in attendance this afternoon, Paul Moriarty, John Devereaux. I mean, I think back to my childhood, and some of those Welsh players that came north were you know, real highlights, and Widnes had a big chunk of them. And if we can get players from Wales, the Principality, who can kind of become icons and role models and poster boys for rugby league as well. I mean, there's such an untapped resource there.
Yeah, like we keep saying, you know, they've got a great facility, they've got a great ground, and it's a great area to develop, and that's all you need. You just need somebody that has got a little bit of something about them that's got a good following, and they're going to get people interested in the game and get it to grow. That's all we ever want, isn't it? Rugby league, we want it to grow, we want it to be the biggest and the best sport in the world, and anything that they can help to promote it will help the game.
Plenty of talk on the field, you can hear no crowd. It's one of the byproducts of it. West Wales force an error. What a way. Oh no, they're given a penalty. West Wales, I think, thought that defensive work, good work indeed, had earned them a free ball there, but clearly not.
I thought the same. I thought the defence had just hit so hard that it bounced out of his hands, but obviously, you know, we don't have the same view as the ref does, so just again, a little basic error, just need to grow from it and play safe.
Spenny moves it on to Smith. Through the middle, through Baker, who's really put himself about so far. Proper ball playing front rower. Here goes Lyons. Farnworth. His break set the platform for Grady's try. Grady's loitering on that edge with Tyra. Smith is back infield. They'll come down that short side again with a try scorer. Now Tyra trying to poke his nose through. Gets the ball away to Buckley. That looked a bit like a tip from Murphy. And Tyra took exception. And we've got our first brouhaha of the game. I think this will simmer down fairly quickly. But Jamie Murphy may be just getting his tackle technique wrong now on Owen Buckley.
Yeah, I mean, there's no disguise in that one, is there? Absolutely. But the thing is, nothing's ever intentional. You know, as much as I don't know what he's going through his head, but you know, you tackle and your ultimate aim is just to stop that person from going forward with the ball, and that's, you know, seeing him get a red card there is really, really unfortunate for West Wales. And like I say, it was never, you know, he's apologised straight away, and it was never an intention thing. It's just you want to stop the player as you can. Looks like Gavin's receiving a little bit of treatment there. He definitely walked away from the scuffle, and yeah, unfortunate for Wales there. And you know, Widnes seem to be having the go forward at the minute, so going to see how they're going to capitalise on this now.
Yeah, I must apologise here. Ian Gwynn says Wales is not a principality, so sorry, Ian. I don't know where I've got that one from. Apologies to Ian Gwynn. I got that one wrong, so fair play. Here we go. So West Wales had was that a red, wasn't it? You say for Jamie Murphy, sadly. There's a fine line between tackle tech and knowing how to do it and what to do versus, you know, it was a bit close to the line for their liking, I guess. Yeah, spear tackle. So how will West Wales Raiders cope with that one? They're certainly being put under the pump here. Connor Dwyer with a dag, but right at the heart of the defence that time. Here goes Baker wanting a try. Strong defensive work there from the West Wales middle. Lyon back to Smith. Now Adam Lawton, he had a bit of space to charge into there. The line speed has slowed just because they're so close to the line here. Owens, dummy from Owens, he's brought down just short. Real threat here being offered by Widnes. Smith drops it off short to Dwyer. Now they're lining up maybe to come to this open right-hand side. Smith, big cutout ball to Spedding, tries to dump it back, and it's swooped upon by Raiders. And we are back into a real slugfest here.
Great effort there from Wales. There's no greater pressure than being on your own line whilst there's repeated sets and, you know, play after play. So great effort from Wales there to keep Widnes out, but an unfortunate little error there to put the pressure back on, as it may be.
So a penalty on the back of that.
It's just I think Rangi tried to get the ball and go forward straight away, just not taking his time, and slipped his hand, unfortunately.
Yeah, incorrect play. The ball's being pinged. with a handover of the ball these days. Took a second to work away at the BBC RL here. We'll bring some of those in a minute. Tyra gets on the outside and he touches down in the corner. And Widnes just applying a bit of squeeze now. Steve Tyrett played in the Challenge Cup semi-final for Halifax in 2019. And he looks to have got Widnes a second score of the game. And they are just starting to exercise a bit of control. And it's those fine margins now, isn't it? The new law changes really pinging people at the ruck. If you don't get that play of the ball right, you know, you really are putting yourself under the pump.
Yeah, it's unfortunate they haven't had a few games just to get it.
So Jack Owens lining up the kick from that left touchline. And he will send it on its way. But the flags go up this time again, so it's 4 points to 12 in the favour of the Widnes Vikings. And it was always going to...
Deficit going to pave the way for the rest of the game.
So Smith takes Henson's restart, and Kenny Baker once again back into the fray. Now we've had a delay, which has probably helped with some of the interchanges, to be honest, but Baker done a solid stint so far. Farmworth backing in and gets a lovely offload away to Owens. Bit of broken field here. Booms the ball wide to Buckley. Cuts back in towards that middle. Creeping in off that touchline, just staying away from the whitewash. Now Grady. They're going to punch some holes here for Widnes.
They're definitely targeting this edge, aren't they? They're a lot of their players coming up this side.
Smith out the back. Dodge there from Owens as the man came hunting in the shape of Chase. Centre field position here for Widnes, with a couple of tackles left in the set. Lawton, nice offload to Spedding. They're not quite sticking with the tackles at the moment. West Wales, a little clip through from Lyons. Oh, it's a fumble there at the back by Coburn. It's bouncing loose. It's been knocked over the dead ball line. What's the call here from Liam Moore?
That was just a really unfortunate, you know, this is a second time we've seen this, just Wales needing to take a little bit more time, take a step back and just watch that bounce of the ball. We all know they're a nightmare.
He's got away with it, I think, Phil Coburn. It clearly didn't go forwards of a hand, so the call is a West Wales Raiders play the ball on the 10 as they look to escape their own end of the field. Marcus Webb gets a quick play of the ball that time, and Chase has got some space to run into, and we saw him make that line break earlier. Can't get the offload away. Cutting in off that touchline, it's Nadal Barley.
This is what Wales want to just push forward, one-up rugby, get into good ball area, and then they can start playing with the ball a little bit. But just need to get into safe area first and get that yardage up.
So they'll go to that right edge, will they? Bogini Soko's come on, and he didn't like that tackle very much, and he makes his point. But that is a handover. I did fear for poor Joe Lyons for a second. Thought he was going to feel the wrath of
definitely held my breath a little bit then. He's a big guy, isn't he?
Just shows some of the quality they've got here. Lawton brushing tackles aside, gets a lovely offload to Spedding. Oh, they've slipped through here, and that's a brilliantly worked try for Dion Cross. 6 tries in 6 games last season. He scored on his first appearance this. And you wouldn't say it's blowing out, but certainly Widnes are stamping some authority on this one. Dion Cross. It's just to the right of those posts. Close range. What will be being said behind those posts at this point? Who will be? You're looking for your big characters, aren't you, now, to say, let's reset and try and get back into this game.
6, get your body in front of the ball and stop them going forward themselves.
John Sheridan says, back up Adam Lawton and tries will follow. Well, he certainly set a platform there, didn't he? Beast mode stuff from him.
That's the big difference at the minute, is Widnes' support play is fantastic, and there's a man on every shoulder. Wales, and when they're making a break, the support is a little bit further behind, so you know, like we've seen, Rangi wants to get the offload off, But, you know, we just need to up the communications, let him know you're there, and just be on his shoulder a little bit closer for that confidence boost to get the ball out.
Mosi should have said Narobale is off for a head injury assessment, so West Wales have had to make a little interchange. Lawton again has just cracked through that line. And there is Owens in support, and the energy battle being won here by Widnes, and the scoreboard battle too. 22 points to 4. And that was a fine finish. And again, Adam Lawton is basically the game breaker at the moment.
Yeah, he's
going right in front. We are behind in terms of the delay to the injury to Callum O'Neill, who we really wish the very best for. Hopefully he's all okay. I know an ambulance was being called for him. He will be taken to hospital. You know, they're going to be looking for some of that bulk to try and take the game to him, but I guess it's where they're being given the ball back is going to be key in this one. Yeah,
absolutely. To go forward, you need the ball in hand, and they've not had much of that in the last few sets. They need to complete the set first, need to get good yardage, and on the completion, they need to put a good kick in. You know, get it to Gavin, get it to Rangi, and let's get the ball down the field in order to either get the yards up, or hopefully what you really want is a mistake and a good chase, and to regain another set.
A lot of raps for Adam Lawton on the BBCRL hashtag, unsurprisingly. Really staking his claim for player of the match, man of the match in this one. As we're edging towards half-time here. As Owens, Baker, nice dummy in midfield, but Owens overran the play that time. He's actually stood in the defensive line. He's offering them a hand as Smith clumps the kick downfield. It will bounce, it will again seem to get caught in the wind once again. And now Sala is tasked with trying to create a bit of a platform here for West Wales Raiders.
He just needs to get a quick play of the ball. He drew 4 defenders in there, and what they need to do is get that quick play, catch the defence off the guard, and before they've reset, and there's going to be gaps in for Wales to make a breakthrough.
Scooped up from acting half there by Heron, Scottish player, had a spell at Red Star Belgrade, has varied places as Mittagong in New South Wales and Red Star Belgrade in Serbia. Born in Falkirk. Nice step there from Chase. Nice offloading turn. Oh, penalty for Widnes. Armour touched the floor when he flicked that ball away, and Rangi Chase is just appealing that he'd kept his arm off the floor, but Liam Moore not having any.
Put his arm on the floor or not, it's what's been seen by the ref. You don't argue, you just move on and get on with it. Lesson learned is, if you're going to go down, Rangi, don't throw the ball away, which is part of his gameplay, I get that, but you got to play to the rules and just play safe at the minute.
Kenny Baker testing out the West Wales defence. He's turned in that tackle. He will play it to Lyons. Nat Smith. Nice double pump from him, and then a switch back on the inside. They'll come scything through once again. Big fend from Dwyer. A couple of big fends from Dwyer, but no penalty. Is that an obstruction call there? I think he said he went behind the back of his man, and that's what created the gap, clearly.
If he'd looked to his left, he actually opened up a bit of a dogleg gap, and he could have gone through, but he chose to step right, which then, again, confuses his team and causes that overlap and that obstruction. So, again, he did make a great break, and it was fantastic, but if he'd looked up earlier, he would have seen the gap to his left rather than jumping to the right.
Heron from acting half. Goes for a scoot and gets some good yards out of that. Chase into acting half this time. Looking to try and drive forward as Fraser Stroud hits the deck.
This is all we want to see, some nice steady play from Wales. Get the yards, get the meters, get through that line, and get closer to the whitewash.
Bateman moves the ball on to Morgan. Bateman just dictating the pace of things from acting half here. Ashley Bateman. Now Chase. Into the hands of Bugini Soko. This is more like it from West Wales. A man down, of course, after the sending off of Jamie Murphy. Missed ball goes out to Chase. Chased with a double pump, a treble pump really there. Last tackle. This is an opportunity as Stroud looks towards the middle. No, he come down the short side and then just stubs the ball.
Ball down. You know, whether that's his confidence, whether his teammate was shouting out, you know, that he was ready for the ball or not, that's just some simple basics that they need to just look up and take advantage of the space that's given.
Tackle there made by Joe Burke, who's, as I say, back in rugby league. Into acting half, it's Craven with a dummy. Almost busting the line. I realised I got Sam Heron mixed up with Ashley Bateman before. Ashley Bateman didn't play for Red Star Belgrade, but I tell you what, Sam Heron definitely did. You can ask him. Here goes Matty Smith. It's the numbers, you see. Here goes Widnes again. Nice inside-outside play there from the Vikings, but solid defence.
Wales player underneath the attack, which is obviously giving them a man out of the defensive line as well. So just some simple errors, getting the men on the back, taking the time to get them back into defence, and slowing down that play of the ball.
Marcus Webb taking the game to Widnes here as we close in on half-time. Bateman with a nice pass to Chase. Here comes Bugini Sissoko. A wrecking ball figure as Morgan engages at the 40 and gets a nice offload to Bateman, who's almost away. Baker clinging on to finish the tackle along with Grady. Chase throws the pass wide. There is Sam Heron. Chase just taking control on that right edge. He will put the kick up in that wind. Underneath it, Jack Owens, who moves the ball on fairly quickly. And now there's a little bit of space for Dion Cross to work in, and Cross will open up the turbo here. They're racing back to try and claim him. He will move the ball onto Spedding. Marcus Webb's done a great job of trying to narrow the angle, but Jake Spedding has too much gas in the end, and Widnes strike from distance. 28 points to 4 with a kick to come.
You were just willing it there, weren't you, for him to catch him and to make that tackle. But again, we're just utilising those gaps in the defensive line there, making the break and having the confidence to pin your ears back and just go straight down the line. And again, like I've mentioned earlier, that support play. We've got men either side supporting the break. They've got options either side. They can offload that ball and continue to make good yards and get the points on the board.
On the back of all the stoppages, we're a little late getting here. But it will be a kick on the 20, just to the right. And Jack Owens has pulled that one wide.
That's an unfortunate kick from there. I think, you know, just taking...
Not in keeping with the timekeeper, so the clock on the ground will be showing a different score. It's just to guide our clock, by the way. Baker, who played the ball, and now it's Cross again, who's shown some searing pace in this one already. With that scything break before. Punched in by Dwyer. Skip out of acting half from Lewis Ells, who has picked up the baton from Joe Lyons in this one.
It looks like Rangi took a little bit of a knock in that last tackle with his shoulder, and he's looked like he was struggling a little bit with it, so we don't want anything to happen to him because Wales really rely on him.
Loose offload there. Widnes trying to play on the back of offloading games. Craven's looping offload. Great pass from in the tackle there from Will Telike, by the way. Super pass. But unfortunately, Widnes unable to finish off the break. Picked up by Bateman as the last act of the first half. Ashley Bateman. Well, what a flying start it was for the West. Callum O'Neill, who went off in that first half with an injury, is going to go to hospital as a precaution. Widnes staff are hopeful that it's a head injury rather than neck injury, but difficult to speculate at this time. But at least he's regained consciousness and has been talking. So some positive news, of course, for Callum O'Neill. We wish him all at BBC Sport here, wish him well, and hope that he's fit and well soon, the Widnes back rower. But plenty of venom about West Wales Raiders there as they put the shot in through Sam Heron. As Widnes come forward through Telike and Else gets it onto Baker. Baker with a nice show and go there for the Widnes Vikings, and they've started this second half with some real pace about their play. Grady. We'll hear from England and Leeds prop Danica Prim in just a moment, but Grady gets the pass away to Else. Oh, they've sliced through again. Jack Owens finishing off. What a break from Widnes, catching West Wales Raiders off the mark, and it's 32 points to 4 with the first real attack of the second half, and that
just sending a big message out that they're here to make some business and to put the front foot forward and go forward and win this game today. What a start. It was so much faster than the first half that as well. It's like a brand new team that have just started from afresh, isn't it?
Absolutely. Jack Owens just ticking the scoreboard over. 30 against the championship level conditioning of the Widnes Vikings. So Henson slings the kick downfield. It was gathered in there by Dwyer at the second attempt off the bounce, and West Wales Raiders, I guess the key for them now, good performance, try and limit the scores down as best they can, but also just kind of get some of those combinations going, because the League One season will be their main priority, as kind of exciting and important as this cup tie is.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they want to run out and see how everybody fares. They want to see how they've gelled together as a team. You can train all you want, but nothing matches that game environment. I'd really like to see Gavin Henson with a bit more ball in hand, whether that's because he has been a bit of a key talking point or not. But Rangi seems to be doing all of the play, and he seems to be moving himself around the pitch, which later on in the game, he's going to tire the old boy out. You know, he's not the freshest of legs out there, so Gavin needs to take the helm a little bit and lead this side at least going forward.
Bateman from acting half after Bagini Soko set them a decent point of attack. Cutting in off that left side, it's Mike Connor. Into acting half goes Bateman, and now Heron. Heron launching an attack. That's a really good carry from the West Wales Raiders man, and they're within range now. Burke's on the short first receiver infield. Chase got the ball instead. He's wriggled clear of the tackles, bounced off another one. Still going here, Angie Chase. It's that unpredictability that makes him such a threat. Morgan, great offload from him. They'll come again here. Heron, big shot out of the line from Craven. Eventually the big Scotsman is toppled. What's the call here from Liam Moore? A yellow card, actually, for Will Teleke for a tackle around the legs. Clearly wasn't happy with the tackle technique of the 21-year-old Widnesian. His dad played for Bradford, Warrington and Lee, so he's got plenty of pedigree, but referee Liam Moore not happy with the tackle there.
What a great set, though, for West Wales there, to keep that ball alive and to keep it pumping through. He's a confidence booster, at least. You know, they had a real good go forward, and they had lots of support to keep the ball moving, which was great to see.
So it's 12 on 12 for a spell. Bateman surveying his options at acting half. This is a position for the Raiders. Bateman goes left. Henson through the hands to Chase. Delayed his pass nicely to try and get Coburn into the attack. West Wales really pumping here. Bateman's got options. He's got Morgan short, and he takes Morgan as the option. Smothering defence from Widnes, though. Will they take him up over the line? I think he'll play it just in the field of play here. Bateman swings it back to the 10. Dropped off, to Henson. He just couldn't get it into the breadbasket. But some promising signs there that West Wales starting to kick into some rhythm.
Yeah, really good set there. They got into the last 10 there, and they were pumping forward. They were getting to the line, and then they were setting deep to set up a good play. You could see Rangi organising Gavin. You could see him come over and behind, and they were discussing what the play was on. It did look like Rangi was still instructing quite a lot, rather than when it comes with experience, calling the name of a call and everyone knowing what to do. He'd called it, and he also looked like he was reminding everybody where to go, which is what's going to come with on the season. You know, had they had 2 or 3 games behind them, that would have been more fluid. But it's still great to see that they've got that in the pocket for later on in the season, for sure.
So here come Widnes marching forward on the back of a really good set. Morgan making the challenge there along with Bagini Soko. Craven goes, switching the attack back to the middle again with Owens. Bouncing off and starting again, recycling his move as he comes away to this left side. Nice offload to Tyra. Tyra drops it back in field for Buckley. Widnes pouring forward here, and again the offloads. Real feature of their play here. Simon Finnegan will be really happy with certain aspects of that. Now it's Grady. Nice pass on to Tyra. Oh, it's gone forward.
So it's really fortunate there for West Wales, isn't it? You know, unfortunate for Widnes, but very fortunate for West Wales. The defence structure seems to be a little bit better. They've organised themselves a little bit better with that. Well, now we're 12 on 12, so it's not too bad. It'd be nice to see Gavin get his shoulder in a little bit and get that big to ground. He seems to be a little tentative there, but it's a completely different game for him in some respects. But much better defence from West Wales there.
Oh, big carry from Noah Sala, but as he put out the arm to fend away, he lost control of the ball, and Widnes might strike here. Craven, nice little dummy. Well read in the end by Noah Sala. Bateman. Else hovers. Now Smith. Dropped up and turned to Dwyer. Now has a little sneaky look towards that right. That's where I dare say it's going. Now Smith delayed the pass. Owens cut out ball to the corner. Owens short space. It's Dion Cross. He didn't get that ball down, and Liam Moore gives the penalty West Wales Raiders way.
Again, another fortunate set for West Wales there. Their defence is much better. Their tackle tech seems to be much better, whether it's just getting into the game or whether...
Extra metres for West Wales here. And it will be tapped and carted in with Emosi Nadalbale, who has passed his head injury assessment that he went for in the first half, which is positive to see. I just saw Dion Cross getting a bit of a check over as well. Head injury concerns and protocols at the very highest level in rugby league at the moment.
Yeah, it creates a bit of stoppage and it slows down the boys sometimes, but precautionary, it's much better to see them being checked over and given the green light to carry on going, isn't it?
Adam Lawton, who was such an attacking threat for Widnes, trying to make the tackles there. And that's an offload away, which has been taken advantage of here by West Wales as Morgan Evans drills forward. 7 Wales international caps for him. Chase. Now on to Henson. Nice pass at the line that time to try and release Joe Burke. Interacting half is Coburn. The Ginger Prince, as he calls himself on Twitter. Chase. Dumped infield to Connor. Trying to cut back against the grain.
It's nice to see Rangi Chase is still playing around with that ball. Was going to dummy it round the back of him, but he kept it and passed it on. But it's nice to see he's still got that little bit of flair and maybe ooze confidence that he's still got that skill level.
Absolutely. He did say some players might remember him on the 5 Live Rugby League podcast when he was good, which I think was probably a little bit self-deprecating. He's still clearly a very good player. Craven, at the back end of his career, of course. As Buckley, who runs into a formidable middle on that occasion of Burke and Evans, as the ball is drilled downfield. Coburn on the back pedal, but he will gather that in his own in goal. It got a little bit caught up in his legs, and the chase from Widnes is good, and that is where West Wales will have to play out from. And sometimes, as their players flood back, it's those moments, kicking game moments, where you get pinned back, and it really is turning the screw.
Yeah, well, absolutely. The great kick from Widnes there to see that West Wales have had to chase back and gather themselves, which means that they're running back and they're not having that minute to gather themselves before going forward again. You know, it's that little minor break that they might need just to get an extra breath in. So it's the speed of play that they need to get used to, which obviously in League One it'll be just a little bit lower than the Championship level, but it's great to see them managing it quite well. They just need to keep on the front foot and keep aware of what's going on.
Kick into the win there. Sails over the whitewash on the far side with the ball being handed back to Widnes here. Morgan Allen has made a couple of really big carries. The 27, the son of Andy Morgan, the rugby union player, had plenty of experience in rugby union with Ospreys and Scarlets, Llanelli, Ealing, Trailfinders, Cardiff. And he's certainly fronted up. He doesn't look as if he's shied away from the contact area at all.
I mean, that's the biggest part of our game, isn't it? You want to see the big middles, you want to see them carting up, you want to see them getting stuck in, not only in attack and just dipping their head, driving their feet and getting that yardage through, but in defence, you want to make sure that you've got your body completely in front of that man and you're stopping them dead in their tracks. Not only is it help your team out, but it's really entertaining for us too.
Buckley trying to pick a gap. Wasn't allowed to go any further on that occasion. Tyra. Now Craven, Widnes throwing some shapes here. Grady trying to get on the inside of his man that time. Owens. Widnes throwing towards that right side now. Smith, Spedding delayed the pass. Cross with a step. Oh, that was forward. Adam Lawton wants to try to go with some of his assists and his good work. In fact, that was Josh Wilde on that occasion who's powering forward. They've similar haircut, similar number. But Josh Wilde there looking well at home until he ran onto that one.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think I'm going to continue to comment on West Wales, and their line defence here is so much better. Their tackle tech is much better. They're getting the man on the back and they're giving their time to regather before they go forward. There's no greater pressure than that, and maybe that's what they needed, and they're holding Widnes out so far.
Nadavale finding his front after pressure from Josh Wilde. Another steamrolling carry from the Raiders as they make some ground. Rangi Chase has to kick from inside his own 40. He's given that some air and some distance. Jack Owens will gather. And now Buckley's turn to try and sweep forward in there. He showed with the eyes there, it's as if he was going wide, didn't he? And then tried to splice through the gap, but West Wales Raiders read that one very well.
They've definitely got a little bit more fire in the belly of West Wales, and they are definitely getting these men on the back much quicker. It's great to see that kick from Rangi was really good, considering he's got the wind against him there. It got some real depth, which gives his team a chance to chase that ball up and get themselves set.
Penalty against the West Wales Raiders for a high shot. You can't fault the commitment, and it's in those times where the fatigue's burning maybe that Tom Morgan that time just straying a little high. But there's plenty of intent about West Wales play. The aggression of Bateman and Morgan Allen and Morgan Evans out the back as well, the loose forward.
Yeah, it's great to see them getting really stuck into that defensive side of the game, and you know they are really stopping these Widnes players in their tracks, which is going to help just regather and take that moment. Fitness will definitely play a bigger part in this second half.
Lassoing tackle that time from Allen on Dwyer. Craven drops off nicely to Baker, holds out the arm, touch football style, as if he was going to flick that pass out, but instead went for contact instead. They're inside the 10 now. Else finds Craven. Craven again moving it back in field to Tyra. Nice dumped offload for Craven. There's a big gap there if he wants to take it, but in the end, fine legs tackle. Went in to stop him in his tracks. Else to Smith. Smith with the kick in behind for Spedding, and Coburn says safety first, drop out to come.
And much more organising together.
So the dropout reaches the 40. Smith will move in on quickly to Baker. Baker looks as though he's going for big minutes this afternoon. Kenny Baker, he has been tireless in his efforts. Dwyer picks up the baton. We've got Tilake back on the field after his sim binning. So again, Widnes will have the man advantage. Scooped up by Owls, played out the back to Craven. Good read from Henson. He didn't stick the tackle though. Owens to Tyra. Tyra will go himself. Tyra gets his second. And it's 38 points to 4 now. We did fear that the score might just blow out a bit. And Widnes just applying the necessary squeeze.
Yeah, Tyra thought about giving that.
And making the Raiders a proposition for Welsh Rugby League. Along with the North Wales Crusaders, two clubs in Wales is always a positive as the kick is pulled well wide.
Work, see how everyone's faring, and just have that small little bits to work on rather than now trying to compete in this game.
Smart short kickoff pays off there as Nadal Bale made sure it went the 10, batted it back, and the Raiders have got it back here as they look to apply some pressure. Really good leg drive that time. As Widnes are put on the back pedal, and it was Mike Connor who made that drive. Now into Evans' hands, short ball out of the back. It was a flat pass that had two options there. In the end, Evans was flattened. Henson took it in. Penalty goes the way of the West Wales.
To get through the line is fantastic, and they just need to push this forward, get to the line, and let Rangi and Gavin get some set up some plays on the back and hopefully get over the line.
Bateman after the stomp forward from Allen. Chase onto Morgan Evans. He's being pushed towards the sideline. He's going sideways here. He's managed to hit the deck to avoid being bundled into touch. Bateman has followed the play over to that left-hand side. Cut out pass from the base of the ruck there that time. Evans again. Allen, sorry, this time. Bateman poised. Chase is on the right side, so is Henson. They're doubling up here as a harsh partnership. Chase with a step. Still going. Trying to switch the play. A little bit of magic from him there. Lovely no-look power. Just close to the line. Big charge. Oh, just short. Was that on the line? And Nader Bali, they'll have another go here. I think they've just been held up once again. The Raiders throwing the kitchen sink here.
You cannot fault the effort from West Wales right now, can you? You know, Rangi got the ball and was moving around. It looked like him and Gavin had something set up very close together, maybe an out-the-back play, and then Rangi saw the space and was moving around. And again, like we've mentioned, that flair and skill that he's got to play around with that ball, handing it in one hand and moving it around his back. It's not something that, as a prop, I'd ever want to play around with. Took it under the arm and hope for the best type of goal.
So Widnes survived that scare. West Wales, you fancy, as you say, there's so many aspects of their performance today that they and their coach Aaron Wood, and as a group they will be looking back on in review, that they have shown plenty of signs of promise here. Lions back on the field. Tilake takes the bump.
If nothing else, West Wales here are showing their determination and their go forward, their resilience. You know, the score is completely against them, but body language is massively key in rugby league, and you won't be able to tell from them. You know, they're still going forward, and they're still looking like they're turning up to really compete in this game.
And Widnes, in return, that kick could easily have just been left for West Wales to cart back up. They pinned them right back in their own end, but there was Buckley, there was Tyra, looking to put pressure on, trying to win that back. I mean, there's a real intensity on both sides at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what you want to see, and that's going to not only drive yourself, your team, and those around you, but it's just sending a message out. We're going to here to play, and we're going to keep going, and that's all you want to see from this. It's a Challenge Cup game. It's like a do-or-die situation. Your body's on the line, and you've come for one thing only, and that's to win and get forward to the next round.
Morgan Allen with a really good carry. He has shown real aptitude for it. Henson, lovely flick out the hands. Oh, it's gone loose. Tyra's pounced. That's cruel on West Wales, because that was a really nice trying to play the second phase there, but couldn't quite make it stick. Widnes looking to punish them now through Farnworth. Big after contact meters there from him.
I hate to be cliche and say that's Gavin Henson's rugby union. You know, you hit the deck in rugby union, you've got to get rid of the ball. So your aim is to get rid of the ball before you hit the floor. So whether a bad option just to move the ball, or he's stuck in his ways, it's just unfortunate for West Wales, that is.
Chilico with a bump and a pirouette, but he is grounded inside the 10. Lions now Smith, they're playing with some pace now. Widnes, Spedding cuts through. And he gets his second try of the afternoon. 42 points to 4. They've cracked the 40 barrier. I think Eddie Don, the groundsman, he's laid such a good track, hasn't he? Widnes are used to playing on the plastic at Holton Stadium. So, you know, they're used to a fast running game. As Jack Owen sends this on its way. No good this time. 42 points to 4, then the score remains. But he's given Widnes the perfect track to play that kind of really hard, fast running game on. And both sides.
And, you know, everybody wants to play on a great pitch like that, but Widnes especially, it's only going to help the speed of their game for sure.
Jack Owens looked at it offside, and I think that was the claim there from some of the West Wales players. And in the end, Liam Moore agrees with the contribution of his touch judge. Owens looked miles ahead of the play there, didn't he? But as he loitered, and that ball went back, and West Wales now, well, where they pick their point on the field here, could be interesting to see what they throw if they decide to tap. A couple of times in this half, Danica, they have tapped, haven't they?
Yeah, you know, it depends on what they want to do. You know, there's a lot going through Rangi at the minute, but I think at this point in the pitch, you want to kind of draw in the defence and get them to one side and maybe throw the ball out wide, but they still have that one-man overlap to Widnes, so it's not going to pay off too much for West Wales if that's what they're planning to do.
Heron with another teak, tough carry. Chase back on the inside it goes. As Nadobale comes into the attack. Looking to find his front. Scooped up that time by Daft Phillips, who ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac. They're still going though. Dogged determination from the Raiders. Evans is there. And it's Evans who takes the pass. Flick out the back towards Chase. Chase with a double pump. Kick in behind. Tyra has to beat it dead. Goal line dropout and the round. So Matty Smith with the dropout, with the benefit of the win this time. Clears to halfway. And Morgan Allen just tucks it under his wing and says, right, have some of this.
And here we see a perfect example of just getting your body stuck in that tackle and just getting a good play of the ball, setting the platform and making a 50s, which gives us either side to play from.
Morgan Evans taking them forward now. West Wales. Chase plays late at the line to Connor. He's been a willing outlet on that left edge. Daft Phillips trots up to the ruck here, looking to find something for Chase. Heron made a dummy run. Evans plays and fends. Still they build. Will they look for another repeat set, or will they go for the jugular here? Chase plays out of the back to Henson. Oh, Henson got his timing wrong there with Coburn, who does manage just to bring that ball back under control. Those little things, isn't it? That's the sharpness that comes with match action. Chase with a kick against the grain, but Owens right behind it. And this is where West Wales need beware, because they've shown themselves pretty good on the broken field. Until Nalu Saleh comes in and says, no, you're not going anywhere, pal.
Yeah, he's made a statement there. We're here to play and we're going to stop you as much as we can. Yeah, just unfortunate that for West Wales. Gavin Henson's just, like he said before in plenty of his interviews, he hasn't had many games to get back into it. He hasn't had any games to get back into it. This is his first game of rugby for a long time, and he's not only been out of rugby union, but he hasn't played rugby league. It's his first ever game of rugby league, so the nerves will be flowing. You know, give him a few more games, and I can't wait to see him back at it again.
Joe Burke thought that was a one in the tackle. Boyle Steele, in fact, he had Sam Heron in there as well. And so that shot earlier, though, from Mosin Nadobale was a real treat, wasn't it? I love to see that. Plenty of enthusiasm.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's coming from one of your edge players as well. You kind of see them shots up the middle, so it's nice to see an edge player to say, here I am, deal with that, and that's exactly what he did.
Farmworth with a nice offload. Lions, they've got to try and lock that ball at West Wales, but Widnes happy to throw it around. Josh Wild moves them into a decent point here. Been at Widnes since the age of 13. Play the balls quick. Lions, Smith plays it into Farmworth. Neat little interchange there. Trying to get Else in, but I think it was a forward pass in the movement. Some nice ideas there. Just trying to move West Wales around with those offloads and those angles. Yeah,
coming back on an unders around the ruck. You know, you stick around the ruck play and it's going to confuse the defence, because you want to move out, you want to move wide, because at any point that ball's going to fly. But a couple of phases back behind the ruck just to keep people tied in, keep your defence tied in. And then once you've got it, you know, got them locked down, you can see that they've grouped in a little bit, then you want to fly the ball out and around.
Marcus Webb trying to slip the net. High tackle on him from Josh Wild earns West Wales a penalty. A few shouts from the Widnes players there about not getting sloppy.
That's the thing for Widnes now. They just need to play dead safe, play really basic, and you know the job's doing it themselves. It's just some silly errors coming from unnecessary moves.
Well, Spedding did well to keep that ball in play and dabbed it back as the kick went to touch. He made sure it didn't find touch, and Widnes have got the ball back here. Else on to Tilake, who runs into the shoulder of Joe Burke and his teammate Sam Heron. Lions onto Dwyer. Plenty of industrial language there for those of you who picked that up. Apologies on a Sunday lunchtime. Lions to Smith. Short ball. Wild almost through. Oh, that was a little bit dangerous as well. We've already had one player go off for a dangerous tackle. Marcus Webb just getting his technique wrong there.
Yeah, it's just a small... West Wales needs to be really careful about that. Again, you want to do it, you want to stop the play, but you've got to be really careful. You cannot afford to lose another man at this point in the game at all.
So Lions will tap it. Smith. Tilake comes in. Oh, that was a Real barnstorming charge from him. Lyons swings out the back to Else, and that's wide for Tyra. And Steve Tyra certainly not passing that time, because that brings up the hat-trick. And it's 46 points to 4. Steve Tyra gets the treble.
Piercing. Whether you're on the pitch or in the stands, it's still sends shudders every time I hear it.
So Jack Owens then to kick this one to make it a 48-point lead against West Wales 4, which is just what he does. He's finally found his range from that side.
Great credit to West Wales, you know, going forward, that's what you want to see in a game of rugby league, that physicality, that strength. And here we go again, you know, that's sending out a message that we're here to play rugby and we're going to play it hard.
Jake Spedding not happy with the treatment dealt out there by Amosi Nadobale. Josh Wilde runs into a bit of traffic down that right side. Was that a sloppy play of the ball? In fact, it's a penalty, which goes Widnes' way. Liam Moore points for it. Matty Smith just offering a few words of encouragement to his teammates. Having an experienced general. I mean, the Widnes have gone for a fairly experienced lineup today, but they've kind of threaded a few young faces in between that. But having Matty Smith and Danny Craven there is just really key, isn't it? And Jack Owens out the back as well.
Yeah, with that kind of experience comes natural leadership. You lead by example, and you're going to take the young boys and they're going to listen to you. You're going to tell them what to do and they're going to do it for you. And that experience is in a pivotal role anyway, so he can read the game better than anyone and he can see what's going on. So I think he's a great leader, both as a player and no doubt verbally for the young lads as well. It's the same with Rangi Chase, that experience.
So West Wales will have some defending to do here. Else, Tyra looking for a fourth. West Wales desperate not to have their rear guard challenged once again. Gingerly gets back to his feet. Now Owens. Farmworth ran into a brick wall that was Mike Connor, should I say. Big hit from him. But they'll come away. Lyons onto Smith. Owens had seen his man overrun the play. Else watches that go loose. Almost into the hands of Henson. Buckley throws a dummy. Widnes edging forward here. West Wales doing their very best to hold them out here. That was a shove from Buckley at the play of the ball. Else looking to sweep it wide. It's a walk-in for Adam Lawton, who in the first half was demolition man himself, and he scores the try that without any shadow of a doubt, I mean, this game has been put to bed, but that is the icing on the cake. Widnes are into the second round of the Challenge Cup with clear, convincing style, and West Wales Raiders trail by 52 points to 4.
Yeah, what a good final end to the game there for Lawton. He's been really pivotal in this game. In the first half, we saw him make some real yards, some real meters, and he was around the pitch everywhere. He was the one that was making the breaks and setting up tries. How many tries did he set up in that first half? I think I lost count. Credits due to West Wales for managing that, but I think now that's probably just topped them off to say the game is over. We just need to wind down the clock now.
Jack Owens taking his time, and he almost crept that one in, but it just didn't curl round just enough, and that's still a 52 points to 4 lead for Widnes. Well, given some of the scorelines which have been put on West Wales over the past few seasons, I mean, they won in the 2019 season, they won just one of their 20 games. Last year the season of course was void, but they lost all 3 games they played. But I think the manner upon which they played this afternoon, last year they played Doncaster, Hunslet and Underbank Rangers, and they were dumped out by Underbank Rangers. But that, you know, that's an amateur side, a community side, where they would have perhaps been the favourites, should I say, West Wales going into that one. But this is against a Widnes side who've got they'll have ambitions. They'll see they went to the 1895 Cup final in 2019, and this is another route back there. They've got a proud Cup heritage. They were never going to take this lightly, but actually when you compare it to previous results, there's so much credit to be earned from it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as much as you don't want to, you came to this game knowing who the favourites were, what was going to happen, and the expectation was, for me anyway, that Widnes were definitely going to put a few more points back on them based on West Wales' previous scorelines. And I think credit to West Wales, you know, they've come out here and they've come out fighting. And what a way to do it. It's the first game back. You know, maybe it's the fire in the belly that they haven't played rugby for a long time and they're just excited to be back on the pitch. Maybe it's because they're in a Challenge Cup. Maybe it's the new recruits. Whatever, you know, that's happened has just been great to see them play how they've played today.
Unfortunately, it will finish with a sting in the tail as Jack Owens finishes off a cutting break. The energy battle against West Wales here, 56 points to 4. Owens just adding insult to injury for a dogged and spirited West Wales side, but Owens goes in.
But well done to West Wales, and an absolutely incredible effort they've put on for the majority of this game, and it's been really great to see.
Owens thumps it through. So, as the kick from Gavin Henson finds some airtime, and Widnes will wrap it up. The final phases of this one at Stevenheath Park, which has been a perfect host for Rugby League this afternoon. Here comes Tilakay, rattling forward. 58 points to 4, the score in this one. Lyons gets it on, Wild down that right edge. He's shown some promise, hasn't he, as a wide running back rower?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been turning up all game. He's been making some good yards, and he's been taking the ball out on that edge and making space. I think it's really weird, isn't it? You know, the time is about to run out, but neither of these sides look like they're about to give in. It looks like they've both had another bout of energy, and they're still going strong despite there being a few seconds.
Little play there down that short side. Spedding went for the Hollywood ball. Couldn't quite keep it in, Dion Cross, so it will be West Wales ball. Which will be thundered to touch here, will it? By no, in fact it's not a penalty, is it? It's a turnover ball these days. So Mike Connor it is who has the ball under his wing. You can hear the shouts and the roars. There's still plenty of energy around this ground in Llanelli. As Heron, that's the last act of the half, the last act of the game. Chase tries to nudge it forward. He can't get the ball. Dion Cross dives on it. It will go to touch, and that finally is game over. West Wales Raiders took the lead